Hannah projected her ancestry DNA results on the fellowship hall screen in front of 100 church members, and Christopher Morrison's name appeared as her biological father. That's how it ended. 26 years of marriage, 16 years of lies, a lifetime of ministry built on a foundation I never questioned. Let me back up. It's her engagement party. December in Nashville, Friday night. The fellowship hall at Covenant Grace Church is decorated with white lights and gold ribbons. Hannah Joy Brennan, my daughter, 24 years old, youth worship leader, 85,000 Instagram followers, is glowing in a cream dress. Her fiancé Brandon stands beside her, one hand on the small of her back. He's our worship pastor, good man, godly man. They've been saving themselves for marriage, doing it right. I'm standing with Rachel, my wife of 24 years, women's ministry director, author of The Pastor's Wife, Finding Identity Beyond the Pulpit. She looks beautiful tonight. Always does. Hair perfect, smile perfect, ministry wife perfect. 100 guests fill the room. Church members, elders, ministry leaders. My mother's friend Maggie Foster, our church secretary for 20 years, is running the sound system. My son Elijah is greeting people at the door. He's 28, associate pastor, following in his old man's footsteps. Christopher Morrison stands near the refreshment table with his wife Catherine. He's wearing his gold cross necklace over his shirt. Always does. 2 inches of 18-karat authority. He's our church elder, finance director. Manages the $8 million annual budget. Been my friend for 16 years. Our families vacation together. Our kids grew up together. He's helped me renovate our house twice. Hannah's opening gifts on the small stage we use for announcements. There's a purple box with an elaborate gold ribbon, the kind of bow only gift shop employees know how to tie. This one's from Aunt Maggie, Hannah says into the microphone. Her voice echoes through the fellowship hall. The ribbon makes a soft, silky whisper as Hannah unties it. The box lid separates with that satisfying pop, like opening a new phone. She pulls out a plastic tube. It rattles when she lifts it. It's an Ancestry DNA kit, Hannah laughs. Oh my gosh, Aunt Maggie, this is perfect. Brandon and I were just talking about doing these. Maggie smiles from the sound booth. Something flickers across her face. Later, I'll understand what it was. Guilt. Or maybe relief that the truth is finally coming. Hannah holds up the instructions. It says I can scan the results right from my phone. Should I do it now? The crowd cheers. Why not? It's a party. She swabs her cheek, seals the tube, scans the barcode with her phone. It says results take 6 weeks, but she taps her screen. Wait, it's syncing with the database. It's showing... Oh, her face changes. It's showing genetic matches. Her voice is different now, smaller. People who've already tested. Rachel's hand finds mine. Her palm is damp. Hannah's fingers move across her phone. Then she picks up her laptop from the gift table. Everyone's watching her face. The room has gone completely quiet except for the sound of her typing. I can project this on the screen, she says, so everyone can see my family tree. This is so cool. No, I think, don't. But she's already connecting to the projector. The screen behind her flickers to life. 12 feet tall, a pie chart appears. Percentages, regions, European ancestry, British Isles, Scandinavian, Italian. Then she clicks to another tab. DNA matches, she reads, people in the database who share my genes. The first name loads. I see it before she does. Christopher Lane Morrison. 50.2% DNA shared. Relationship, father. There's a recent photo. His church directory picture, smiling, gold cross visible. The room inhales, one collective breath. Held. Hannah's voice comes through the microphone, distant, like she's underwater. Elder Morrison, my dad's best friend, how is this? She turns to look at Rachel, at me, at Christopher. Catherine Morrison is standing next to her husband, holding a champagne glass. She's looking at the screen, at her husband's name, at the word father next to my daughter's genetic profile. The glass slips from her hand. It shatters on the fellowship hall floor. Hannah's voice cuts through the silence. Mom, what did you do? I don't remember moving, but suddenly I'm at the screen, looking up at Christopher's face projected 12 feet tall, his smile, his cross, his name, father, 50.2%. The math is simple, brutal. He's either her father or her uncle. She shares half his DNA. And Christopher doesn't have any brothers. Rachel's hand is on my arm. Thomas, please, let me explain. Not here. My voice doesn't sound like mine. It's flat, clinical. The voice I use when I'm performing, when I can't afford to feel. Elijah appears beside me, my son. His face is white. Dad, we should clear the room. He doesn't move. Elijah, now. He nods, starts ushering people toward the door. Maggie is already at the exits. She's known. I can see it in her face. She's been waiting for this. Christopher hasn't moved. He's still standing by the refreshment table. His wife has walked away from him. She's standing alone near the door, staring at him like she's seeing him for the first time. Or maybe the last. Brandon has his arms around Hannah. She's crying, not making any sound, just tears running down her face, ruining her makeup. My little girl who wore a purity ring from age 13, who built her entire identity on being the perfect pastor's daughter. The guests are leaving, quickly, quietly, but they're all pulling out their phones. By tomorrow morning, the entire congregation will know, 5,000 people. And that's just the beginning. I taught them about covenant marriage, about faithfulness, about building your house on rock instead of sand. I wrote a book about it, Covenant Marriage, 7 Pillars of Faith. It's sitting in a stack by the door, advance copies. I was signing them tonight. The fellowship hall is almost empty now, just family, just the people who destroyed my life and apparently knew they were doing it. Christopher moves toward the door. Don't! One word. I don't raise my voice. Don't need to? He stops. Catherine, he says, his voice is shaking. I can explain. Shut up. She doesn't look at him. She's looking at me. Thomas, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear to God I didn't know. Something in her face tells me she's lying, but that's a problem for later. The parking lot is cold, December wind cutting through my jacket. 50 people are still outside, standing by their cars, not leaving, watching. Christopher is trying to get into his car. His hands are shaking so badly he drops his keys. They land on the asphalt with a metallic clink. His elder seal ring taps against the car window as he fumbles with the lock. I cross the parking lot. People are filming on their phones. I don't care. Thomas, Christopher's voice. Man, let me... I grab the door before he can open it. Hold it shut. 16 years. My voice is still calm, still clinical. You've been sleeping with my wife for 16 years. It wasn't, you're my church elder, you're my friend. You sat across from me at breakfast every Tuesday morning. You helped me counsel couples. You led prayer meetings. You baptized children. He won't look at me. And you're Hannah's biological father. Thomas, I never wanted her whole life, every birthday party, every school play, every father-daughter dance. You were there, not as her father, as my friend. Did you ever think about telling me? Elijah's hand is on my shoulder. Dad, let him go. Christopher gets the car door open, yanks it hard enough that I have to release it or hurt my hand. He slides into the driver's seat. I pull out my church directory from my jacket pocket, the white spiral-bound book with 800 family photos. I'd been carrying it to show Hannah, to point out all the people who'd come to celebrate her. I throw it through his open window. It lands in his lap, falling open. The Morrison family photo on page 47. Right across from the Brennan family photo on page 46. Always together, always side by side, in every committee, every ministry team, every church event. Get out of my church, I say. His car peels out of the parking lot, but I still have the church keys. I still have access to the financial records. I still have 48 hours before I have to preach to 5,000 people who all know what just happened. It's 2 a.m, Saturday morning. We're in the living room of the pastoral residence. Hannah is on the couch with Brandon. Rachel is standing by the window. Elijah is pacing. I'm holding my book, the advance copy of Covenant Marriage, blue leather, 320 pages of advice about staying faithful, about building trust, about forsaking all others. Rachel's handwriting is in the margins. I never read her notes before, never had a reason to look. Page 43, Chapter 3, Forsaking All Others, the Exclusivity of Covenant. Her handwriting, I'm living a lie while writing about truth. Dated March 2010. I flip through the pages, more notes. How do I teach what I don't live? God forgive me. I chose comfort over courage. Every page is a confession I was too blind to read. How long? I ask. My voice sounds hollow. Rachel turns from the window. Thomas, how long, Rachel? 16 years. The number sits in the air like poison. Hannah makes a sound, a broken little gasp. 16 years? You've been lying to us for 16 years? It wasn't supposed to happen, Rachel says. It just, don't. Hannah's voice is razor sharp. Don't you dare say it just happened. 16 years doesn't just happen. That's 5,000 days of choosing to lie. Brandon's arm tightens around her. I wanted to tell you, Rachel says. She's crying now. So many times I wanted to, but you didn't. Elijah stops pacing. His voice is tight, controlled, like mine. You let Dad counsel 300 couples about honesty in marriage. You stood next to him and smiled. You wrote a book about being a pastor's wife. You taught women's Bible study about covenant. I know. You don't know anything? Elijah's voice cracks. You don't. He stops, looks at me, then at the floor. Something's wrong. Elijah, I stand up. What aren't you saying? Dad, Elijah. He won't meet my eyes. I found out 3 months ago. The room tilts. You what? I saw them, Christopher and Mom, in the parking lot after Wednesday service. They were too close. And I started noticing things, the way they looked at each other, the way he always knew where she was. I confronted Mom. She told me. 3 months. I can barely say it. You've known for 3 months. Dad, I wanted to tell you. I was going to tell you. But Senior Pastor Rhodes... You told Rhodes? I didn't know what to do. I went to him for counsel. He said... Elijah's voice drops to a whisper. He said to stay silent, to protect the ministry. He said if the congregation found out about an elder having an affair with the senior pastor's wife, it would destroy everything. He said we had to handle it quietly. Give you time to process, give them time to end it properly. End it properly. I'm standing now. I don't remember standing. My son and my mentor decided to protect the ministry instead of telling me the truth. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. Get out. Silence. Dad, get out. Elijah leaves. The front door closes behind him with a soft click. I look at Rachel. At this woman I've known for 28 years, married for 24. I need to see it, I say. See what? Whatever proves it started 16 years ago. Because I'm about to burn down everything we've built, and I need to know I'm burning the right thing. She's quiet for a long moment, then she nods. Your office, she says. The storage room, there's a folder, marriage retreat, 2009. Hannah's head comes up. The marriage retreat? The one Dad organized? Rachel nods. Oh my God! Hannah starts to laugh. It's not a happy sound. Oh my God, that's where it started, at a Christian marriage conference. She stands up, pulls off her engagement ring, the purity ring she's worn for 11 years, hands them both to Brandon. I need some time, she says. Then she walks out. Brandon looks at me, at Rachel. He doesn't say anything. He just follows Hannah. I'm left alone with my wife, with this stranger wearing Rachel's face. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home, I say. It's a phrase I've used 1,000 times, a little self-deprecating joke. The pastor who notices every crisis in the congregation but forgets to take out the trash. Who can counsel couples through divorce but can't remember his anniversary? I thought I was being humble. I was just being blind. If you've ever been told to keep a secret that ate you alive, where loyalty to one person meant betrayal of another, just type silence in the comments. Sometimes protecting people costs too much. You're not alone in that weight. The church office is dark. It's 3 a.m. I let myself in with my keys. Maggie is already there, sitting at her desk in the secretary's office. The lamp is on. She has a folder in front of her. She doesn't look surprised to see me. How long have you known? I ask. 16 years. Of course. You saw them. She nods. At the marriage retreat. I was helping with registration. I saw Rachel and Christopher check in. Separate rooms, but adjacent. And I saw the way they looked at each other. The way they... She trails off. Why didn't you tell me? I tried 3 times, once in 2010, once in 2015, once last year. Every time you told me I must be mistaken, that Rachel would never, that Christopher was like a brother to you, that I was seeing things that weren't there. I remember those conversations. I dismissed her, told her she was being paranoid, unkind, making accusations without proof. You were telling me the truth, I say, and I called you a liar. You weren't ready to hear it. She pushes the folder across the desk. Manila. Yellowed edges. Coffee stained. The label says Marriage Retreat 2009 in my handwriting. I open it. 60-plus registration forms, couples' names, room assignments, financial summaries in Christopher's handwriting, his elder seal ring pressed into the wax on the approval forms. And there, page 12. Rachel Brennan and Christopher Morrison listed as co-leaders, couples communication workshop. Their room assignments: room 217, room 219, adjacent rooms with a connecting door. The retreat I organized, the conference where I taught couples how to strengthen their marriages, where I gave the keynote address on covenant faithfulness. That's where it started. I taught them, I whisper. I taught them how to save their marriages while they were beginning this. Maggie's voice is soft. The calendar is in there too. I flip through the pages. She's attached 16 years of church calendars, highlighted entries, Rachel's women's conferences, Christopher's business trips. The dates match, every single one. 47 trips over 16 years, same cities, same dates, same hotels, all approved by Christopher himself as finance director. He was signing off on his own affair expenses with church funds. $50,000, Maggie says. I did the math. $50,000 of tithe money spent funding their adultery. I close the folder. My hands are steady. My voice is steady. Everything is steady because if I let myself feel, I'll shatter. Thank you, Maggie. What are you going to do? Good question. In 6 hours, I have to make a decision. Do I preach Sunday morning? Do I step down? Do I confess to the congregation? Do I pretend nothing happened? 5,000 people will be in the sanctuary, 15,000 more watching the live stream. They all know. The texts are already spreading. The videos from the parking lot are already online. I'm the senior pastor who taught covenant marriage while my wife broke hers, who wrote a book about faithfulness while my best friend and church elder fathered my daughter. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home. I never understood what that meant until now. Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, the parking lot is already filling. Early service doesn't start until 8:30, but people are coming early. They want to see if I'll show up, if I'll preach, if I'll address it. I'm standing in my office. The marriage book manuscript is stacked on my desk. The advance copies I was going to sign and give away. The dedication page is open. To Rachel, who taught me what covenant means. My phone buzzes. A text from the denominational office, from Dr. Samuel Rhodes, my mentor, the man who told my son to stay silent. Thomas, we need to talk. This morning, before service. I don't respond. Another text. This one from Elijah. Dad, I'm so sorry. Please let me explain. Delete. Another. Hannah. I don't know if you're preaching today, but if you are, I'll be in the front row. I need to see how you handle this. Because I don't know how to handle it. That one I answer. Front row. I'll see you there. 8 o'clock. The sanctuary is filling. I watch from the hallway behind the platform. 5,000 seats, almost all of them full. People are standing along the walls. The live stream count is already at 15,000 viewers. It'll probably hit 20,000 by the time I step out. The worship team is on stage. Brandon is at the piano. He looks exhausted. Hannah is in the front row, not in her usual spot on the worship team, just sitting, staring at the empty pulpit. Elijah is in the pastor's chair on the platform. He won't look at me. Maggie is at the sound booth. She gives me a small nod. Catherine Morrison is in the sanctuary. Sitting alone in the third row, the seat next to her, Christopher's usual spot, is empty. Everyone can see it, the absence. Rachel is not here. I told her to stay home. 8:25. The worship team finishes the last song. Brandon transitions to the sermon. And now, Senior Pastor Thomas Brennan. 5,000 faces turn toward me. 15,000 people watch through their screens. I walk to the pulpit. My hands grip the edges. The same pulpit I've preached from for 26 years. The same wood worn smooth by my fingers. I should have a sermon ready. I don't. I should have prepared something. I didn't. All I have is the truth. Before we begin, I say, I need to say something about Friday night. You could hear a pin drop. Most of you know what happened at my daughter's engagement party. Those of you who weren't there have probably seen the videos or heard the stories. I pause. Look out at the congregation, at faces I've known for decades, marriages I've counseled, babies I've baptized, funerals I've led. I've preached to you for 26 years about covenant marriage, about faithfulness, about building your life on truth instead of lies. Catherine Morrison is crying quietly in the third row. Hannah is staring at me, waiting. And I've spent the last 48 hours discovering that while I was preaching those sermons, my own marriage was being destroyed. While I was counseling you to stay faithful, my wife was breaking faith. While I was teaching covenant, one of your elders, my friend, was fathering my daughter. Someone gasps. Most of them already knew, but hearing me say it out loud makes it real. I stand before you this morning as a man who taught you to see clearly while I was blind, who wrote about covenant while mine was breaking, who preached grace while refusing to believe I might need it. I grip the pulpit tighter. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home. I've said that phrase 100 times. I thought it was funny, a humble admission that pastors miss the small things. I look at Maggie. She's watching me with something like pride in her eyes. I was wrong. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home. And I was blind, willfully blind. 16 years of evidence, 16 years of signs, and I refuse to see any of it. 5,000 people hold their breath. We'll talk more soon. The board will be meeting. There will be investigations. There will be consequences. But right now, this morning, I'm standing here to tell you that I'm still your pastor. Broken, humiliated, devastated, but still here. I close my eyes, breathe. Let's pray. Monday morning, the church office. Maggie has the financial record spread across 3 tables. 16 years of expense reports, travel approvals, ministry budgets. Every single one signed by Christopher Morrison, elder, finance director, the man who controlled where our money went. Look at this. Maggie's finger traces down a spreadsheet. March 2011, Rachel requests funding for Women's Ministry Conference in Atlanta. Flight, hotel, meals. Christopher approves it. $2,000. She pulls up another document. Same weekend, Christopher submits his own travel expense. Business meeting in Atlanta, same hotel, same dates. How many times, I ask? 47 documented trips over 16 years. Always the same pattern. Rachel requests ministry funding. Christopher approves. Then Christopher submits his own business expense for the same location, same dates. She hands me a stack of forms. Christopher's elder seal ring is pressed into the wax on every approval signature. That gold ring he always wore, the one with the church logo engraved, the symbol of his authority. He used that authority to fund his own affair. The total, I ask, $50,218, give or take. $50,000 of tithe money, widows' offerings, single mothers' gifts, faithful members giving sacrificially to support ministry, used to pay for hotel rooms where my wife and my friend betrayed me. The accountant needs to see this, I say. Already called him. He's coming in at 2. I flip through more documents. Stop at 1 from 2009, the marriage retreat folder. The registration forms show Rachel and Christopher as co-leaders. But there's more. Room key logs. The retreat center kept electronic records. Rachel's key card accessed room 217 14 times that weekend. Christopher's key card accessed room 219 13 times. But both key cards accessed the connecting door between the rooms 23 times. They weren't even trying to hide it. They just knew no one would look. There's something else, Maggie says. Her voice is careful. The marriage book. The one you wrote. Christopher's company printed it. What? His business, Morrison Printing and Design. He gave the church a discount, printed 5,000 copies. But look at the invoice. She hands it to me. The cost is reasonable. Standard commercial printing rates. But at the bottom, in the notes section, there's a line of text. Author dedication approved. No charge for custom plate. He printed the dedication page for free, I say slowly. The one that says, "To Rachel, who taught me what covenant means." Maggie nods. He read that dedication. He printed it 5,000 times, and he never said a word. I sit down, hard. The chair creaks under my weight. He attended the book launch. I say. He gave a speech. He told everyone how proud he was, how the book would change marriages, while he was destroying yours. The accountant arrives. We spend 3 hours going through the records. By the time we're done, he's pale. Pastor Brennan, he says, this is embezzlement. Church funds used for personal expenses. The board needs to know. The denomination needs to know. And honestly, the police might need to know. Let's start with the board, I say. He nods, starts packing up the documents. My phone rings. It's Hannah. Dad, I need to see you, now. She's waiting at the house, the pastoral residence. It's technically church property. Rachel and I have lived here for 22 years, raised our kids here. Hannah is in the living room. The wedding planning binder is open on the coffee table, white leather, 3 inches thick, 400 pages of perfect plans. February 14th. Valentine's Day. 400 guests, the church's historic chapel. Reception in the fellowship hall. Flowers, music, dress. Everything planned down to the minute. Brandon is with her. He looks like he hasn't slept. Is it true? Hannah asks. About the money? How did you? Elijah told me. $50,000. Christopher used church money to fund the affair. I nod. She stands up, starts pacing. Her hands are shaking. I've been going through photos, she says. Childhood photos, birthday parties, school events, church picnics. He's in everything, Dad. Every single thing. Not as my father, as your friend, as our family friend. She pulls out her phone, scrolls through pictures, stops on one, holds it out to me. It's Hannah's 4th birthday party. She's wearing a pink dress, blowing out candles. Christopher is in the background, smiling, watching her. I never noticed before, Hannah says. He's in the background of 43 photos from my childhood. Just there, always there, watching. She scrolls to another photo. Hannah at 8, playing soccer. Christopher on the sideline. Another. Hannah at 13, church youth group. Christopher chaperoning. Another. Hannah at 16, leading worship for the first time. Christopher in the front row. He came to my high school graduation, she says. My college graduation. My first day at the church office when I started as youth worship leader. He was always there. Hannah! And Mom knew. She knew the whole time. She watched him show up for everything. She watched me call you Dad. She watched me write about you in my Instagram posts. 85,000 followers. I've posted about you hundreds of times. My dad, the pastor. My dad who taught me about faith. My dad who showed me what a godly man looks like. Her voice cracks. And every single post was a lie. It wasn't a lie, I say. I am your father. DNA doesn't... Don't. She holds up her hand. Don't do the biology doesn't matter speech. Not yet. I need to be angry first. Brandon puts his arm around her. She leans into him, then pulls away. The wedding, she says. I don't know if we can still have it. Not at the church. Not with everyone knowing. Not with Christopher's biological daughter getting married by her not biological father, while her biological father watches from wherever the hell he is now. Hannah! She picks up the wedding binder, holds it for a moment, then throws it at the wall. 400 pages scatter, fabric samples tear loose, pins scatter across the floor. The sound echoes through the room. I wore a purity ring for 11 years, she says. Her voice is shaking. From age 13 to age 24, because you taught me that my body was a temple, that sex was sacred, that marriage was holy, that I should save myself. She pulls out her church directory from her bag, flips it open to a specific page, shows me. It's the women's ministry section. Rachel is listed as director. Under her photo, it lists the classes she teaches. One of them is highlighted in pink marker. Song of Solomon, Biblical Perspectives on Marital Desire and Intimacy. Hannah's voice is ice. She taught a class about sexual desire and marriage while she was sleeping with Christopher. She stood in front of 200 women and taught from Song of Solomon. I was in that class, Dad. I took notes. I wrote about how beautiful it was that Mom could talk so openly about desire in a godly marriage. She opens Rachel's pink Bible, the one I've seen her carry for 8 years. Pink leather, worn soft from daily reading, ribbons marking favorite passages. One ribbon is at Song of Solomon. Hannah opens to that page, points at the margin. There, in Rachel's handwriting, CLM. Christopher Lane Morrison. She taught that class in 2019, Hannah says. 6 years into the affair, she stood in front of me, her daughter who was wearing a purity ring she gave me, and taught about desire, using the book she'd marked up with her lover's initials. She closes the Bible, sets it on the table, looks at me. I wore that ring because you taught me my worth wasn't in my body, that I was valuable because I was made in God's image. That purity was about honoring myself and my future husband. She stops, takes a breath. So I need you to answer something, honestly. The woman who taught me all that, the woman who put that ring on my finger at my dedication ceremony. Whose temple was her body, Dad? Because it sure as hell wasn't God's. The question sits between us like a knife. Brandon clears his throat. Hannah, maybe we should... No. She doesn't take her eyes off me. I need him to answer. Because if he can't answer that, then I don't know what I believe anymore. I don't know if any of it was real. The purity, the faith, the family. If she could lie about this for 16 years, what else was a lie? Hannah, my voice is quiet. Nothing your mother did, or didn't do, changes what I taught you. Your worth isn't determined by her actions, or mine, or Christopher's. Your worth is inherent, always has been. But you didn't see it, she says. You didn't see any of it. You taught me to see clearly while you were blind. You wrote a book about covenant while yours was breaking. How am I supposed to trust anything you taught me? I don't know, I say. And it's the truth, the most honest thing I've said in days. I don't know, Hannah. I don't know what's real anymore either. She nods slowly, picks up her purse. The wedding binder pages are still scattered on the floor. Neither of us moves to pick them up. Brandon and I are going to take some time, she says. Figure out what we want to do about the wedding, about everything. She stops at the door, looks back. I love you, Dad. I do. But I don't know who you are anymore. And I don't know who I am. The perfect pastor's daughter whose whole identity was built on a lie. After she leaves, I sit in the silence, looking at the scattered pages, the torn fabric samples, the broken plans. Hannah had to choose the man whose DNA she shares, or the man who showed up every single day for 24 years. If you were Hannah, what would you do? Biology, type DNA, or presence, type showed up. I want to know what you'd choose. Whatever you chose, there's no easy answer here. Hannah had to decide for herself. And honestly, I'm still deciding too. The denominational board meets on Wednesday. Dr. Samuel Rhodes presides. He's 62. Been my mentor for 30 years. The man who told Elijah to stay silent. The conference room at the denominational office. 8 board members, a stenographer. The meeting will be live-streamed to denominational leadership across the region. I sit alone on one side of the table. Rachel sits alone on the other. Christopher sits as far from both of us as possible. Dr. Rhodes opens a folder. The DNA results are inside. Official documentation now. Evidence. We're here to determine what happened, when it happened, and what the appropriate response should be, he says. Pastor Brennan, you've submitted documentation suggesting a 16-year affair between your wife, Rachel Brennan, and Elder Christopher Morrison. It's not a suggestion, I say. It's a fact. Documented with DNA evidence, financial records, and eyewitness testimony. Maggie is called in. She presents the calendar evidence, the matched travel dates, the room key logs from the marriage retreat. The board members look ill. Then the accountant presents $50,000 in questionable expenses. Christopher's signatures on all of them. His elder seal ring visible in the wax. One board member asks Christopher directly, "Did you use your position as finance director to approve your own affair expenses?" Christopher doesn't answer. Elder Morrison, Dr. Rhodes says, "You need to answer." I'm not answering anything without a lawyer. The room goes cold. Dr. Rhodes closes his folder, looks at me, and I see something in his face I've never seen before. Disappointment, but not in Christopher, not in Rachel, in me. "Thomas," he says, and his voice is gentle but firm, "you counseled 300 couples through marriage difficulties. You wrote a book on covenant marriage. You built a ministry on teaching faithfulness. I know. Did you ever fight for your own marriage?" The question hangs in the air. Did you ever notice that your wife was pulling away? Did you ever ask her if something was wrong? Did you ever prioritize your marriage over your ministry? Or did you just assume it was perfect? Did you assume that because you were teaching others how to have good marriages, yours didn't need any work? I can't answer, because he's right. Thomas, you were blind, willfully blind, and I say that as someone who loves you, as someone who's watched you build something extraordinary here. But you built it at the expense of your own family. You were so busy saving everyone else's marriages that you didn't notice yours was dying. Are you saying this is my fault? My voice is sharper than I intend. I'm saying marriage takes two people. Rachel made terrible choices, unforgivable choices. But you made choices too. You chose the pulpit over your wife. You chose the congregation over your family. You chose ministry over the people who needed you most. He turns to Rachel. And you, Rachel? You stood beside Thomas for 24 years. You built ministry together. You raised children together. And you betrayed all of it. Not just with an affair, but with 16 years of calculated deception. You taught women about purity while living in sin. You wrote about being a pastor's wife while destroying your pastor husband. Rachel is crying, silently. Dr. Rhodes looks at Christopher. And you, an elder, a leader, a man trusted with spiritual authority and financial responsibility. You didn't just commit adultery, you used church resources to fund it. You used your position to enable it. You sat in leadership meetings and made decisions about church discipline while you were the one who needed disciplining. He closes his folder. Here's what's going to happen. Christopher, you're removed as elder effective immediately. The financial audit will continue. If there's evidence of criminal activity, it will be reported. Rachel, you're suspended from all ministry activities for 6 months, minimum. After that, we'll reevaluate. He looks at me. Thomas, you have a choice. You can step down now. Or you can take a 6-month sabbatical. Use that time to heal, to rebuild your family, to figure out if you're staying in this marriage or ending it, and then decide if you're coming back to ministry. What about the church, I ask? What about the congregation? The congregation will be fine. We'll bring in interim leadership. Elijah can help. The church has survived worse than this. Has it? The words come out bitter. Has it survived a senior pastor whose entire ministry was built on hypocrisy? Your ministry wasn't built on hypocrisy, Dr. Rhodes says. It was built on truth. You just forgot to apply that truth to yourself. That doesn't make everything you did worthless. It makes you human, broken, in need of the same grace you've been preaching about for 26 years. He stands. The board will vote on these recommendations. But Thomas, I want you to hear this. You've spent 26 years teaching people about grace, about redemption, about how God uses broken people. Now you get to live it. Now you get to find out if you actually believe what you've been preaching. The meeting ends. The vote is unanimous. Christopher removed. Rachel suspended. My sabbatical approved. I walk to my car alone. The rest of the week passes in a blur. 3 couples cancel their counseling sessions with me. They don't want marriage advice from a pastor who couldn't see his own marriage falling apart. I don't blame them. But on Friday, one couple shows up. Mark and Jennifer. Married 18 years. On the brink of divorce. I've been counseling them for 2 years. They sit in my office, silent. You don't have to stay, I say. I understand if you'd rather work with someone else. Jennifer looks at Mark, then at me. Pastor Brennan, we've been coming to you for 2 years because you taught us that marriage is worth fighting for. That covenant means something. That grace is possible even after betrayal. I know, but now you're going through it yourself, she interrupts. You're living it, so teach us. Teach us how to survive this. Because if you can fight for grace after what just happened to you, maybe we can fight for it too. Mark nods. We've been ready to give up. We've filed papers. We've told the kids we're separating. But then we saw what happened to you. And Jennifer asked me something. She asked, if Pastor Brennan can find grace in his situation, why can't we find it in ours? Jennifer stops packing her things, the box of tissues, the framed photos she was going to take home. So teach us, she says, not as someone who has all the answers, as someone who's learning them right now. Teach us how to survive betrayal, how to decide if a marriage is worth saving, how to find grace when you feel like there's none left. I look at these 2 people, their pain, their hope, their willingness to try one more time, and I realize something. I've spent 26 years teaching about grace, always from the position of the one offering it, the pastor dispensing wisdom, the counselor with answers. I never imagined I'd be the one needing it, the one receiving it. Okay, I say, let's figure it out together. Saturday, Rachel asks to talk. We meet at the house. Elijah is there. He insists on being present. Rachel looks exhausted. She's lost weight. Her hair is pulled back, no makeup. This is the woman I married, underneath all the performance, all the ministry polish. I need to explain, she says. I need you to understand why. Rachel, please just let me say this. I nod. It started at the marriage retreat, 2009. You were leading sessions all day, counseling couples, teaching workshops. You were brilliant. Everyone said so. You were helping so many people. She pauses. And I was invisible. The pastor's wife, smiling, supporting, always in your shadow. Christopher was there for the financial workshop. His marriage was struggling. Catherine was cold to him, distant. He felt invisible too. So you decided to have an affair. No, not then. We just talked about feeling like we didn't matter, about being accessories to other people's lives. And it felt good to be seen, to matter to someone. You mattered to me. Did I? Her voice is sharp. When was the last time you asked about my day? Not about ministry, about me. When was the last time we went on a date that wasn't a church function? When was the last time you looked at me and saw Rachel, not the pastor's wife? I don't have an answer. It wasn't just Christopher, she says. It was feeling like I existed, like I was more than your support system, more than a role. So 16 years, I say. 16 years of lying, of betrayal, because you felt invisible. I tried to end it, she says, multiple times in 2012, 2015, 2018. Every time I told Christopher it was over, that I was going to tell you, that I couldn't keep living the lie. But you did keep living it, because he threatened me. Her voice drops to a whisper. He said if I left him, he'd tell you himself. He'd destroy your ministry, make it public, humiliate you. I stayed in the affair to protect you. That's not protection, I say. That's cowardice. She flinches, but she doesn't argue. You're right, she says. I was a coward. I am a coward. I chose comfort over courage, lies over truth, and I destroyed everything. She pulls out her pink Bible, the one with the Song of Solomon bookmark, sets it on the table. I'm leaving it here, she says. I don't have the right to carry it anymore. I taught women about covenant while breaking mine. I taught Hannah about purity while living in sin. I don't get to claim faith when I spent 16 years defiling it. Elijah speaks for the first time. Mom, where will you go? My sister's house, in Memphis. The board suspended me for 6 months. After that, I don't know, maybe I'll never come back. Maybe that's what needs to happen. She looks at me. Really looks at me. I'm sorry, Thomas. I know that doesn't fix anything. I know sorry isn't enough. But I'm sorry for all of it. She leaves. The front door closes behind her. The pink Bible sits on the table. Bookmark still at Song of Solomon. Christopher's initials still in the margin. I don't touch it. Christmas Eve, 2 weeks after the engagement party, 2 weeks since my life imploded. The church is having their Christmas Eve service. 8,000 people will attend. The biggest service of the year. Televised. Live streamed to 20,000 viewers. I'm not there. I'm sitting in the sanctuary. Alone. Late afternoon. Empty pews. Soft winter light through the stained glass. The service is happening at a rental venue across town. The associate pastors are leading. Elijah is preaching. The substitute pastor is handling the invitation. I couldn't face it. Couldn't stand in front of 8,000 people and talk about hope. About the Christ child bringing light to darkness. About God becoming flesh to dwell among us. Not when I'm drowning in my own darkness. I have the marriage book manuscript with me, the advance copy. I open to the dedication page, to Rachel, who taught me what covenant means. I read it over and over, the irony so sharp it cuts. The TV in the pastor's office is on. I can hear the service, the worship music, the readings, Elijah's voice preaching about hope, 20,000 people watching online, celebrating, rejoicing, and I'm here, in an empty sanctuary, holding a book that's now a monument to my blindness. I flip through the pages. Rachel's margin notes. I'm living a lie while writing about truth. March 2010. How do I teach what I don't live? July 2013, God forgive me. December 2016, I chose comfort over courage. August 2019, every page is a confession. Every note is a moment where she almost told me, almost chose truth, almost ended it, but she didn't. And I never asked, never questioned, never looked closely enough to see what was right in front of me. I taught 300 couples to communicate, to be honest, to fight for their marriages, and I never fought for mine. I never even realized it needed fighting for. I thought it was perfect. I was so busy saving everyone else's marriages that I didn't notice mine was dying. The TV shows the Christmas Eve service, 8,000 faces lit by candlelight, singing Silent Night. The camera pans across the crowd. I see Catherine Morrison sitting alone, her seat next to her empty. Christopher gone. I see Maggie, crying quietly, holding a candle. I see Mark and Jennifer, the couple who stayed, sitting together, holding hands. I see faces I've known for decades, marriages I've counseled, families I've helped. And I realize something. The ministry wasn't a lie. The teaching wasn't worthless. The grace I preached was real. I just didn't believe I needed it. I thought grace was something I gave to other people, not something I needed for myself. The TV shows Elijah finishing his sermon. His voice is strong, clear. Tonight we celebrate God coming down, God becoming human, God entering into our brokenness, because that's what grace is, not perfection, not having everything figured out, but God meeting us in our mess and saying, I see you, I love you anyway. He pauses. My father taught me that. He taught this church that. And right now, he's learning to believe it himself. Because grace isn't just for other people. It's for us. It's for the broken, the blind, the ones who thought they had it all together and discovered they didn't. The congregation is silent. So tonight, as we celebrate Christ's birth, let's also celebrate this, that God doesn't wait for us to get our lives perfect before He shows up. He shows up in the mess, in the pain, in the moment when we finally admit we need Him. 8,000 candles flicker in the darkness. I sit alone in the empty sanctuary, holding my book, holding my failures, and I whisper the words I've said 1,000 times, the phrase that was a joke until it became a knife. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home. But this time, I understand. This time, I know what it means. I was blind. For 26 years, I was blind, and now I can see. The denominational board's decision comes down 10 days after the engagement party. They live stream it, 30,000 people watching. Dr. Rhodes reads the findings. His voice is formal, legal. After reviewing financial records, DNA evidence, and testimony from multiple witnesses, the board has reached the following conclusions. I'm not there. I'm watching from home, on my laptop, like everyone else. Christopher Lane Morrison is removed from his position as church elder, effective immediately. His access to church finances is revoked. A full forensic audit will be conducted. If criminal activity is discovered, it will be reported to authorities. The camera shows Christopher sitting alone. His wife isn't with him. Rachel Marie Brennan is suspended from all ministry activities for a minimum of 6 months. After that period, reinstatement will be contingent on counseling and restoration processes. Thomas Edward Brennan is granted a 6-month sabbatical. During this time, he will focus on personal healing and family restoration. His return to pastoral duties will be evaluated at the end of the sabbatical period. Dr. Rhodes looks directly into the camera. We also want to acknowledge that Covenant Grace Church has been a beacon of faith for 26 years under Pastor Brennan's leadership. His failure in his personal life does not erase the truth he taught, but it does remind us that all of us, leaders and members alike, are in need of the grace we preach. The board meeting continues. Questions, procedures, legal language. Then Christopher stands to leave. Catherine stands too, but she doesn't follow him. She walks to the microphone. I have something to say. The room goes silent. My name is Catherine Morrison. I've been married to Christopher for 28 years. I've known about this affair for 8 years. Gasps. I found emails in 2017, texts, evidence. I confronted him. He promised to end it. He didn't. I stayed anyway, because I was afraid. Of the scandal, of losing my position in the church, of being judged. Her voice is shaking but clear. I'm done being afraid. I'm filing for divorce. I should have done it 8 years ago. I should have protected Hannah, Elijah, Thomas. I should have told the truth. I didn't, and I'm sorry. She looks at the camera, at me, watching from home. Thomas, I'm sorry. I was a coward, just like Rachel, just like Christopher. We all chose comfort over truth. And you paid the price. She walks out. Christopher tries to follow her, calls her name. She doesn't turn around. The security guard steps forward, holds out his hand. Elder Morrison, I need the ring. Christopher looks confused, then realizes. The elder seal ring, the gold signet with the church logo, the symbol of his authority. No. Sir, the board has voted. You need to return church property. It's my ring. I earned it. You didn't earn it, the security guard says quietly. It was given to you, in trust, and you broke that trust. Christopher looks at the ring, at the camera, at the 30,000 people watching him be stripped of everything. He tries to pull it off. His hands are shaking. The ring won't move. It's been on his finger for 17 years. There's an indentation in the skin where it's worn a groove. Finally, it comes free. He hands it to the security guard. The metal catches the light one last time. Then it's gone. 2 days later, I get a call from Elijah. Dad, Hannah found something in the storage unit. Mom's old journals. You need to see this. I drive to Hannah's apartment. She's sitting at the kitchen table. Brandon is with her. There's a cardboard box between them. Old journals. Rachel's handwriting on the covers. Hannah hands me one, dated 2002. Read the entry from April, she says. I flipped to April 2002, a month after Hannah was born. I don't know what to do. The pregnancy test came back positive, and I didn't know whose baby it was, Thomas's or Christopher's. I chose to believe it was Thomas's. I chose to stay silent. I chose lies over truth. God forgive me. My hands are shaking. Hannah hands me another journal. 2009. Christopher wants to tell Thomas. He says Hannah deserves to know that we can't keep living this lie. But if we tell him, everything falls apart. The ministry, the family, everything. I told Christopher we have to protect Thomas. We have to stay silent, for his sake. Another journal, 2015. Hannah asked me today why Christopher comes to all her school events, why he's always there. I told her he's just a good family friend. She looked at me with those eyes, Thomas's eyes, and said, he watches me like a dad watches his daughter. I wanted to tell her the truth. I almost did, but I'm too much of a coward. Hannah is crying silently. She knew I noticed, Hannah says. She knew I questioned it, and she kept lying. I close the journals, look at my daughter. What do you want to do? I ask. I want to talk to him, to Christopher. I want to hear him say it, all of it. Why he did it, why he stayed, why he never told me. Hannah, I need to, Dad. I need to close this loop, and then I need to decide. Decide what? She looks at Brandon, then at me. Decide if I'm your daughter because of DNA or because you showed up every single day for 24 years. She meets Christopher at a coffee shop. Brandon insists on going with her. I wait in the car outside, watching through the window. I can't hear what they're saying, but I can see their faces. Christopher is crying, talking, gesturing. Hannah is still, listening, her face unreadable. Then she stands up, pulls something from her bag. The church directory, opens it to a specific page, shows it to Christopher, the Morrison family page. She tears it out, rips it in half, leaves the pieces on the table. Then she walks out. In the car, she's silent for a long time. Finally, she speaks. He said he loved me, that he wanted to be a real father, that he was there for all those years because he couldn't stay away. What did you say? I told him that love isn't showing up in secret. Love isn't watching from the sidelines. Love is being present, being honest, being the person who sacrifices for you, not the person who sacrifices you for their comfort. She looks at me. You're my dad. Biology doesn't make you a father. Showing up does. And you showed up every single day, every soccer game, every recital, every late night talk. Every time I needed you, you were there. He had memories I'm just learning about. You have memories we built together. She reaches over, takes my hand. I'm your daughter, not because of DNA, because you made me yours. 24 years of showing up. That's what makes you my dad. Hannah and Thomas redefined what family means. Not who you're born to, but who shows up when it matters. If you've built your own chosen family, people who aren't blood but are everything, tell me about them in the comments below. Those stories matter. 6 weeks after the engagement party, mid-February, I get a call from Elijah. Dad, you need to come back, just for one Sunday. People are asking for you. They need to hear from you. I'm on sabbatical. I know, but Dad, the church is struggling. Numbers are down. People don't know what to believe anymore. They need to hear that grace is real, that redemption is possible, that broken people can still stand. I'm not sure I believe that myself yet. Then come find out, together. So, I go back. Sunday morning. 4,500 people in the sanctuary. Some stayed away. The scandal was too much, but most came back, waiting, watching. I walked to the pulpit, the same pulpit I've stood behind for 26 years, worn smooth by my hands. I'm carrying the marriage book manuscript, the one with Rachel's notes, the one with the dedication that now cuts like glass. I set it on the pulpit. Let everyone see it. I wrote this book about covenant marriage, I say. My voice echoes through the sanctuary. I taught you that marriage is sacred, unbreakable, built on trust and faithfulness. I flip it open to the dedication page. To Rachel, who taught me what covenant means. That's what I wrote 18 months ago. Before any of this happened, when I thought my marriage was perfect, I pause, look out at the faces. I was wrong. My marriage wasn't perfect. It was broken. It had been breaking for years. I just didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. Catherine Morrison is in the sanctuary, sitting alone in the third row, Christopher's seat empty beside her. I taught you that covenant is unbreakable. Mine broke. I taught you that grace is for everyone. I didn't believe I needed it. I taught you to see clearly. I was blind. I grip the pulpit. The wood feels solid under my hands. Real. The only thing that feels solid right now. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home. I've said that phrase 100 times, 1,000 times. I thought it was funny, a humble admission that pastors are human, that we miss the small things. I look at Maggie. She's watching me with tears in her eyes. I was wrong about that too. The pulpit doesn't just miss the small things. It misses everything when the person behind it is too proud to admit he needs the same grace he's preaching. Hannah is in the front row, Brandon beside her. She's holding my hand. The wedding binder, modified now, some pages torn out and replaced, is on her lap. I've spent 26 years teaching you about grace, always from the position of the one giving it, the pastor with answers, the counselor with wisdom, the leader who had it figured out. I close my eyes. Breathe. I didn't have it figured out. I don't have it figured out. I'm standing here broken, humiliated, devastated. My marriage is in ruins. My family is shattered. My ministry is a question mark. Mark and Jennifer are in the 5th row, holding hands, the couple who stayed. But here's what I'm learning. Grace isn't something I dispense from behind a pulpit. It's something I need, desperately, daily. Because grace isn't earned in perfection. It's proven in brokenness. The words settle over the sanctuary like snow. I'm broken. I'm standing here broken, and I'm asking you, all of you, are you still willing to witness grace? Because I need it now. I need it like I've never needed it before. The silence is complete. Then someone stands up. Mark. The man whose marriage was falling apart. The man I counseled for 2 years. He starts clapping. Jennifer stands, joins him. Then another person. Another. 4,500 people rise to their feet. The sound is overwhelming. I stand at the pulpit, holding my broken book, holding my broken life. And for the first time in 6 weeks, I feel something besides pain. I feel hope. The sermon goes viral. Someone recorded it on their phone, posted it online. Within a week, 2 million views. Not because it was polished, not because it was perfect, because it was true. Comments flood in. I needed to hear this. I've been hiding my own brokenness for years. Grace isn't just for other people. Thank you for showing us that. My pastor pretended to be perfect. You admitted you're not. That makes all the difference. The video spreads. News outlets pick it up. Megachurch pastor admits failure. Congregation responds with grace. Hannah posts about it on Instagram. Her 85,000 followers become 90,000, 100,000. People are hungry for honesty, For leaders who admit they're human, she writes a blog post. Finding identity beyond DNA, what my father taught me about love. It gets shared 50,000 times. She writes about purity culture, about being taught her worth was in her virginity, about discovering her real worth was in being loved unconditionally, about choosing presence over biology. The post goes viral too. Churches reach out, pastors call, people who've experienced paternity fraud, people who've been betrayed, people who've been lied to for decades. They all want to know the same thing. How do you survive this? How do you find grace in the wreckage? I don't have all the answers, but I'm learning them. Valentine's Day. 2.5 months after the engagement party. The day Hannah and Brandon were supposed to get married in the church's historic chapel with 400 guests. They changed the plans. Outdoor garden venue. 200 guests. Some stayed away. The scandal was too much, but the people who matter are here. Hannah is wearing her dress. White, simple, beautiful. She's carrying a bouquet and Rachel's pink Bible. Something old, she said. Not forgiveness yet, but acknowledgement that it's complicated. Rachel isn't here. She sent a letter. Hannah read it privately. Hasn't shared what it said. I'm wearing my pastoral stole, the symbol of my office, my calling. Hannah asked me to wear it. You're still my pastor, she said. You're still my dad. I want both of you to walk me down that aisle. Catherine Morrison is here, sitting with Maggie. She filed for divorce. It's final now. She's starting over. 50 years old, building a new life. Christopher isn't here. There's a restraining order. He's not allowed within 500 feet of Hannah. His choice to respect it or face legal consequences. Elijah is officiating. My son. The one who kept the secret. We've talked. We're working through it. It's not fixed yet, but we're trying. Dr. Rhodes is here, in the second row. He nods at me as I take my place at the head of the aisle. The music starts. Hannah takes my arm. Ready? I ask. Yeah. She squeezes my arm. Thanks for showing up, Dad. Always. We walk down the aisle, 200 faces watching. Half of them know the whole story. The other half heard pieces. Everyone knows something, but they're here anyway, celebrating anyway, because that's what grace looks like, showing up for broken people in their moments of joy. Brandon is waiting at the altar. His eyes are wet. He's 26, worship pastor, good man, the kind of man who stayed when things got complicated. I hand Hannah to him. Step back. Elijah begins the ceremony. Then it's time for the vows. Brandon takes both of Hannah's hands. Hannah Joy Brennan, he says, I promise to love you, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. I promise to show up every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. He pauses, looks at me, at the congregation. We marry into brokenness and choose grace. Your family taught me that. Love isn't perfection. It's showing up after the fall. It's choosing each other when the world says you should walk away. It's building something new from the pieces of what broke. Hannah is crying, happy tears, complicated tears. She says her vows, promises to love him, to be honest, to fight for their marriage even when it's hard. Elijah pronounces them married. They kiss. The congregation cheers. As they walk back down the aisle, I catch Hannah's eye. She mouths 2 words, thank you. 400 guests who didn't come missed that moment, missed the beauty in the brokenness, missed the proof that grace is real. Their loss. 18 months later, July 2027, hot Nashville summer. I'm back at Covenant Grace Church. My sabbatical ended after 6 months. I came back part-time. Now I'm full-time again. The congregation is 6,000 now, bigger than before. The viral sermon brought people, broken people, people who'd given up on church because church seemed to only want perfect people. They found a place where the pastor admits he's broken too. I've started a ministry for pastors in crisis, for leaders who are struggling, who are failing, who need someone to tell them that their worth isn't in their performance. 20 pastors in the first cohort. We meet monthly. Talk about the things we don't talk about. The marriages that are failing, the addictions we're hiding, the depression we're pretending doesn't exist. It's the most important work I've ever done. Rachel and I are divorced. It's final. She's living in Memphis, working with her sister. She's in counseling, making amends where she can. We talk occasionally, civilly. It's not friendship, but it's not hatred either. It's complicated. It'll probably always be complicated. Hannah had a baby, Grace Eleanor Mitchell, born 6 weeks ago. She has Hannah's eyes, Brandon's smile, and today I'm baptizing her. The sanctuary is full, 6,000 people watching. Hannah and Brandon stand at the baptismal font. Hannah is holding Grace. The baby is wearing a white baptism gown. Tiny, perfect. Catherine Morrison is in the third row. She's remarried now. A kind man from another church. They're building something good. Maggie is running the sound system, same position. 22 years now. She winks at me. Mark and Jennifer are in the fifth row, still married, still together, still fighting for their grace story. Elijah is on the platform. Associate senior pastor now. We're co-leading, father and son, both broken, both healing. Hannah hands me the baby. Grace is so light, so small. She makes a soft cooing sound. Grace Eleanor Mitchell, I say. My voice echoes through the sanctuary. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I dip my hand in the water, cool, clean. I place my hand on Grace's forehead. The water runs over her skin. She startles, then settles. I baptize you in the name of the Father, who creates you, the Son who redeems you, the Spirit who sustains you. Hannah is crying, happy tears. She leans close, whispers so only I can hear. You're my daughter's only grandfather. The words hit like a benediction. Not Christopher, not the man who shares her DNA. Me, the man who showed up, who stayed, who chose her every single day. My hands are shaking, not with fear, not with pain, with joy. I lift Grace from the water. She opens her eyes, looks at me, and I swear she smiles. After the service, I'm in my office. There's a new notebook on my desk. Next to the old marriage book manuscript that sits on the shelf, dusty, untouched. The new notebook has a title written on the first page, Grace After the Fall, A Pastor's Journey Through Betrayal to Redemption. I haven't started writing yet. I'm still living it, still learning what it means. But I know this much. Grace isn't earned in perfection. It's proven in brokenness. And I'm standing here, baptizing babies, counseling couples, leading a church. Not because I have it all figured out, but because I finally admitted I don't. The pulpit sees everything except what's closest to home. But when it finally looks, when we finally have the courage to see our own brokenness, that's when grace begins. That's when healing starts. That's when we stop performing and start living. And that, I've learned, is worth more than 16 years of perfect pretending. I close the notebook, look out the window at the church parking lot, filling up for evening service. 6,000 people, coming to hear a broken pastor preach about a gracious God. I used to think that was a contradiction. Now I know it's the only sermon worth preaching. If this story moved you, subscribe. I tell stories about grace, betrayal, and finding family in unexpected places. Real stories, complicated stories, stories that don't have easy answers but have true ones. I'll see you in the next one.